Good morning, boys and girls. This is Ms. Lopez. Today I'm going to go over our reading and writing assignments for this week. We are week 3, April 6th to the 10th. This week you will be needing your My Book. We will be reading the story Cooper's Lesson. The genre is realistic fiction, and you will be practicing making inferences and using the plot. So for reading, I kind of section it off right here. This is our reading assignment. It says, read the selection Cooper's Lesson on pages 344 to 358. Review the plot of the story, the beginning, the middle, and the end. Make inferences as you read the story. To make an inference, you find clues in the text and think about what you know about those clues to figure out what the author is trying to tell you. Complete the comprehension questions on page 359. So this is going to be for our reading, boys and girls. If you watched my video on logging into your My Book, you can do this assignment, boys and girls, online, but you do need to have a computer. If you do not have a computer, then you do need to complete the assignments on your My Book. If you do your assignments on My Book, boys and girls, make sure you send me pictures of your completed work. I am yet to receive a lot of your assignments. That is something that we need to keep document of, that you are doing these assignments. So please send me pictures. If you can log online, if you have a computer, log on and do the assignments online so that I have I could get those right away. If you are doing them, once again, please send me pictures as soon as you complete anything, and I will keep documentation that you are doing assignments. So today I'm just gonna go quickly over Cooper's Lesson and what you will be doing. Like it says right here, we are reading a realistic fiction. Remember, fiction is something that is made up. And when we have the word realistic means that the events in the story can happen in real life. So we won't be seeing any fantasy in this type of story. So what we are focusing on, boys and girls, is plot. Authors of realistic fiction tell a story through the plot, and we already know what plot is, right? Everybody draw this on your on the side of your book. Our plot, remember, plot is character setting. Character, that's a little house. I know it looks weird. Character setting, my problem, my turning point, and my solution. How the story gets solved. Make sure you're using your symbols, boys and girls, as you're reading. Whenever you bump into a new character, make sure you label it, and you make sure you write his name and some character traits, just so that we can keep track of all our characters. Same as our setting. Every time you bump into a new setting, make sure you label it, boys and girls. Make sure you're telling me that the setting has changed. And settings are very important, guys. They really do help our plot take its course. So when you find your problem, label it the turning point. Remember, turning point is the event that happens, the event that changes the story from sad to happy. Okay? And our solution, make sure you label your solution whenever you bump into that. So characters in a realistic fiction might tell an anecdote. An anecdote may be told when the author wants to introduce an event that happened in a character's past. Some realistic fiction includes a theme or a lesson learned. Make sure that you draw your diamond when you finish the story. Remember, our diamond is our theme. The theme is going to be basically the main idea plus the lesson learned. What does it equal? So what was it that the author was trying to teach you with the story? So make sure you come up with a theme at the end and label it. All right, boys and girls. So before we get ready, let's go ahead and set a purpose for our reading. So look at the pictures in the text. Do you notice anything about the main character? What would you like to learn about him? Write your ideas below. So just go ahead and skim through your pages, look at the pictures that the illustrator has for you, and go ahead and make an inference or ask yourself questions. What is this story going to be about? Why is this character holding a dog? On page 345, I see a boy. It looks like he's looking at his reflection because he's standing there. His dog's looking at himself as well. And it looks like he's standing by a mirror, and he doesn't look very happy. So ask yourself these questions, look at each picture, and think about, why is it that this is happening? What do you think this story is going to be about? So before you get started, let's go ahead and write a couple sentences or a sentence where you ask yourself a question about what we're about to read. So what would you like to learn? So I'm going to start with, I would like to learn, and go ahead and fill it out. When you're done doing this, guys, send me a picture. I want to see your responses. I want to know what it is that you want to learn in this story. So also, boys and girls, they gave us our critical vocabulary. We have inspect, liveliest, stammered, expectantly, demonstrated. Make sure, boys and girls, when you bump into any of our vocabulary, for example, on page 347, we have 2 vocabulary words. Make sure if you have a highlighter, go ahead and highlight it. If you don't have a highlighter, just underline. So we have a sentence right here. It says, mothers picked up vegetables to carefully inspect their leaves and roots, or gently squeeze round sweet melons. So go ahead and look at the word. Make sure whenever you bump to any of these words, look at the word. We have our first sun word, inspect. I'm going to go ahead and write it on my side right here. Inspect. And look for any clues. What are some words that the author might have used to help you better understand the meaning of the word? Yes, I know that they gave us the definition down here, but before we look at that, let's try to see if the author used any keywords, any context clues to help us better understand this word. So it says, mothers picked up vegetables to carefully inspect their leaves and roots, or gently squeezed round sweet melons. So I like that they use the word carefully. So the mothers are carefully picking up these vegetables, and they are inspecting their leaves. So how do I inspect? What do you think you would use in order to inspect something? They're looking at them, right? They're looking at their leaves, their roots, and then they're squeezing them. You know, they're trying to find the best fruit to take. So right here, the word inspect, these are some clues they use. The word picked up. They picked them up. They're carefully inspecting the fruit. So these words, boys and girls, make me understand that maybe the mothers are carefully looking at the fruit. They're really getting in there, because they say they're picking them up, they're carefully looking, they're looking at their roots, they're squeezing them. So they're turning them around. I can visualize how this looks, that the mothers are picking up the fruit. I know I do that when I go pick up especially aguacate. When I go look for aguacate, I want to pick the best aguacate, right? I don't want it to be too hard. I don't want it to be too soft. So I turn them around and I look. I try to pick the best one. So as you bump into any of your sun words, boys and girls, make sure you do this. Do this before you look at the definition. Because the author tries helping you find the meaning of the word without you having to look it up. So make sure you do that. All right, boys and girls. So once again, we have inspect, liveliest, stammered, expectantly, and demonstrated. So as you read your story, your assignment of the week is to read this story. It says, and complete the comprehension questions on page 359. When you do complete the story, make sure you're labeling, boys and girls. Make sure you tell me any important characters, setting, where was your problem, where was your turning point, where was your solution. I want you to send me pictures of these things, boys and girls. I want to see that you are finding all of these elements of plot. So when you are finished, you're going to be answering the questions on page 359. Pages 359. You have 3 questions, boys and girls, that you will be completing. Please send me a picture of this. If you do it online, like I said, I do have access to it. I can see what you responded. I can't wait to see some of those responses on there. But if you don't, just send me a picture of this so that I can document that you turned it in. All right. So now let's just go ahead and move on. Let's move on to writing. For writing, boys and girls, it says write an essay explaining why it is important to make a mistake. Plan your essay before beginning. Be sure to include the central idea, reasons, examples, and details. So you all have your line paper, boys and girls. I gave you guys a sheet of line paper and I gave you a final draft paper. I loved reading some of your compositions. I've read, I believe I've read 2 of them. No, I'm sorry. I've read 3 of them. Thank you so much for submitting them. As soon as you get your week 2 composition done, boys and girls, send it over. I want to document that you turned that in. For this week, you will be writing and planning about an essay explaining why it is important to make a mistake. So, as soon as you finish, boys and girls, send me a picture of what you did today. It doesn't have to be completed work. I just want to see that you're doing something and that you are completing your assignments. So if there are any questions, I love getting questions. I know I have a few students. Mariana, you've been sending me questions. Raul, you send me questions. Daniel. And Julius, you guys have been sending me questions. If you have questions, send them over, guys. I am here. Me and Miss Salas are always available to answer anything, any type of question that you might have. So I'll leave you with that. If you complete anything, like I said, please send me a picture. And I can't wait to see it. Bye. Have a good day.